You begin to see how it all fits together. From the oyster bed, to the fishermen, through the processing, to the distribution, and finally to the table. In spite of the damage done by the oil spill, or maybe because of it, the restaurants of New Orleans have gotten creative.
Oysters. Actually, there's, you know, what, 50, 100? I mean, you can be creative and change it in so many ways. I think, you know, natural, a good oyster, right when it's opened, is just, I mean, you can't beat that.
You can grill it, fry it, bake it, poach it, bread it. You can charbroil, barbecue, steam, roast, and put it in a po' boy. And when it comes right down to it, you just eat it. And while we were in New Orleans, I got to make some oysters with some of the best chefs that city has to offer.
We've got our sauce.
So what's in the sauce?
It's butter, margarine, garlic, black pepper, Italian seasoning, a little bit more garlic, a little bit more butter. And we just put roughly a tablespoon on top of each oyster. And yes, it's okay to spill a little bit, because again, we're going to the heat. We're trying to get this thing as hot as we can and get these oysters off the grill as fast as we can.
All right, for our red bean oysters, we're gonna make a tasso cream. This is tasso that's been rendered off in the oven. We'll try a piece of that. Great pork product is smoked, a little Creole seasoning on the outside.
That's good.
And we're gonna take a little Holy Trinity. So everybody knows, you know the Holy Trinity, right? All right, we're gonna start with that, and a little bit of garlic. We're gonna saute that down, add a little bit of heavy cream, and a little bit of bourbon. That's gonna be our cream. We're gonna put that on top of our oysters, and then we're gonna top them with our red bean flour. Prove everybody it tastes like red beans.
Wow, that's good.
And then we're gonna put a little bit of Parmesan Reggiano cheese on top. So I do have a job for you today,
Right.
if you can handle it. All right, so peeler,
Got it.
we're gonna start shaving some cheese on the plate.
Well, you've never seen a guy shave cheese like this.
Oh, look at that. So this would be like, you normally would use breadcrumbs on top of baked oysters, so this is gonna replace breadcrumbs. And great local flavor too. I mean, I would really love to encourage everyone to eat as much Gulf seafood as possible. You know, it's safer now than it's ever been. You know, it's being checked, and it's such a great quality product, and let alone it's just some of the best seafood in the world.
Here's a little chainmail glove just for a little protection.
All right.
Try not to take your skin off.
I'll do that.
We're gonna be looking for the hinge.
Right here, you grip it.
The hinge.
Just look for the hinge, right?
Yep.
Just like
go.
that. And then
Eat it.
when in Rome. Okay, chef, what's next?
Well, we're gonna put the sauce on our oysters. Okay, and we're gonna brown the sauce. Now, one thing about cooking oysters is they're very, very delicate. So you don't want to cook them at all too long. What we have here, this is a Parmesan Dijon glaçage. And it's basically a mousseline, which is hollandaise and heavy whipped cream, no sugar, with Dijon and Parmesan. What we're looking for is the sauce to melt and just brown a little bit. You see it's kind of melted over, nice, coated the oyster. Go to it.
Me with fire. Oh, I'm so excited.
How's that? Perfect. One thing I love about New Orleans is it's really one of the last regional cuisines in America. You know, a lot of things are becoming homogenized, and this is such a culturally identified cuisine. It's passed down from one chef to another, from one father to a son, from one mother to a daughter, and it really means a lot to me to be part of that tapestry that is the culinary heritage of New Orleans.
All right, let's plate our seafood platter, Andy. Here we have shrimp cornbread, baked oysters with shrimp and crab meat, baked oysters with cream spinach and bacon. Are you full yet? Stuffed devil crab, And then, to top it off, jalapeno shrimp coleslaw. This is what we call our rebuilt Louisiana seafood platter.
Chef, this is an outstanding dish. Thank you for all the time and attention you put into it.
Thank you. I love to cook for people. I love to make people happy.
What was the inspiration for these dishes?
Well, it's really more about sensibilities that we have growing up with this food. You know, until I started traveling, I thought everybody ate like this. Well, that's not true. But we're blessed here to grow up with moms and aunties and grandmothers that just cook the best food in the world, and so that really defines the way we approach food as chefs too.
And in the style of New Orleans, you can create a new presentation to make a meal an event.
Well, this is one of my favorite brand new dishes, and this is our version of charbroiled oysters. But the twist today is we're gonna do ours tableside. We're gonna throw in half of a recipe of barbecue shrimp, some Louisiana hot sauce, a bunch of garlic and lemon. This is gonna be fantastic. You know, the interesting thing about New Orleans these days is that there's a lot of folks that are actually in the oyster business. Normally we just use P&J oysters exclusively, and those folks have been around for about 120 some odd years. But they don't have all the oysters that all of us need, right? So now there's all this demand, and nobody has all the product. So there's probably about 10 different suppliers these days that are bringing in oysters from all across the Gulf Coast. They can't guarantee us Louisiana oysters all the time, but what they do provide us is the best possible product that is available. Still, even today, months and months after this horrific oil spill, there's probably about a third of Louisiana's coast that's still not available for oyster harvesting. And so now we're trying to piecemeal all of our menus together based on what we can get right out of these waters.
Isn't it interesting that you have all this history with all these families in New Orleans, and yet New Orleans continually changing, continually evolving? What do you think it is about the spirit of those reigning families that continue to stretch out and try new things?
Well, I think we all love history, right? The big fascinating thing for me, though, is growing up in Washington State. I'm a huge fan of studying the history of this great state. And so to understand the history and look forward to new technology and great new dishes like this, it helps us to redefine what great Haute Creole cuisine really is. And that's modern, more refined, elegant versions of a simple dish like charbroiled oysters.
Do you think the future looks bright? I mean, like, think about oysters. You know, that's one thing that can't move away. And I know you serve some great fried oysters here. What do you think the future seems like for that?
I think it's too early to tell. I think, you know, in this next year we'll see, you know, what's going on. We're probably a couple of years out to getting back, or three, to where we were, and we just can't predict it. We don't know the effects, you know, long-term effects of the problem with the oil. We just have to wait and see and hope for the best, and, you know, help these guys out and do everything we can to help those oyster farmers.